I think that SoFi stock is one of the best investments that you could make if you are starting an account, if you already have a stock account, if you already invested for 15, 20 years. I think anyone can benefit from investing in SoFi stock. And I just wanted to talk about a little bit what's happening with the company right now. So some catalyst of the company that I wanted to point out. And actually, you know what, before we get into this, there's a lot of not I don't want to say negativity, but it's definitely not positivity surrounding the company right now. The stock is at around 18 and it's been down quite a bit, what, like 40% from the highs, and over the past year hasn't made big move. And a lot of people I see are frustrated with the stock. And I just want you guys to really remember to focus on where the company's headed and not what the environment is or what the sentiment behind the stock is, because it would be a different situation if, okay, let's say the company was headed in the wrong direction and that's why the stock is down. You know what, fine, good reason for it to be down, but the company is currently better than ever, and it's it's currently trading at its cheapest valuation ever because of their earnings growth, yet the stock is down and people are really not happy with that, with which I really don't understand. If you're playing this from a short-term perspective where it matters if the stock goes up and down, then you probably don't deserve to be investing. If you are investing, you need to do it for the long term because that's where you can find good opportunities like this. So I just want you guys to remember to focus on that long term, regardless of what happens in the short term. So back to the slide. One of their biggest catalyst, and or one of them, is the technology business and growing that. It carries very little risk because they're basically selling off loans in their loan platform business to other companies. They're basically like a middleman, just taking a profit, selling the loan, so pretty minimal risk. It would make the company trade at a much higher PE and forward PE because one, it de-risks the company, and two, it moves the company away from more of a traditional bank in a sense, because traditional banks trade at lower PEs, obviously, and SoFi is currently kind of mixed between the two, so that's why it's a bit higher than most other banks. But if you can move more and more into this other business, you're gonna get a richer and richer PE. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Another catalyst would be loan diversification. It carries less risk, obviously, and it would diversify the business as well, making it trade at a sorry, richer valuation. Um, Another one is the Technesis and the Galileo stack. Any sort of SaaS stuff really trades at a lot higher valuations than obviously banks and most other things. And once this gets up and running, listen, it's going to be high margin and sticky businesses that are going to create multi-year recurring contract revenue, which is really, really good for the company. This could obviously carry less risk for the company and it diversifies, which both basically just add up to the stock trading at a higher price. They have the financial service flywheel maturity, where they turn basically low margin users to high margin. And what this basically is, I put a picture of it up here. They start off around here using these products, and once they use these products, SoFi prompts them in a way to continue using their products, obviously, and they've gotten pretty good at this, and they're going to keep on getting better and better. And as you go down, these products become better and better returns on investment for SoFi, and customers really enjoy them, so they'll keep on using these products. SoFi makes some really good products that a lot of people use, and right now they're in a stage, they're obviously a newer bank, they're in the stage of bringing people in to this flywheel, and a lot of people are going to be around the stage because they're new to the company. Okay, and a lot of people look at that and they're like, okay, why should we care? They're bringing people in, so what? These people are not baby boomers, they're some of the younger generation. They don't have a ton of money right now. Listen, over the 5, 10, 15 years down the line, they're going to be going down here and they're going to get it more and more money. I think really long term, if you look at it from a wide perspective, I think in 15 or 20 years, SoFi will be one of the biggest banks in the country. And I know that's a pretty bold statement, but I think it will happen. A lot of the current banks, I don't think, are really taking into account what SoFi can do. They're really taking market share in this next generation. So most of the big banks think, oh, we still have the baby boomers. They have all the money now. Why should we worry about a company like SoFi taking the younger generation? Listen, the baby boomers are going to get older. There's going to be a point in time where the younger generation is going to have a lot more money as well, and SoFi is really positioned to capitalize on that. Um, Another thing that this flywheel, if it matures, it can really do is it's going to lead to explosive profit, operating leverage, and that really drives high earnings growth. And another thing that I think is very important to talk about is management. When I invest in a company, I always like to make sure their management and their CEO is reliable. They aren't doing some sneaky stuff with the stock, maybe paying themselves a ton in options or doing this and that. And they're trustworthy. And I think a lot of company success has to do with the management as well as their product. But some important things that management has done is they secured the national bank charter back in 2022. They are continuing to diversify the business. They are making strategic acquisitions. Their brand awareness has been on point. You have SoFi Stadium, you have the other advertisements. I really, really like this for them. And another thing that I also really like is insider alignment. Anthony Noto has gone on many podcasts. He's gone on many different YouTube streams and this and that, and he talks with the basically his investors and shareholders all the time. He's very open. He himself has bought tons of tons of shares. I remember there was a time, I think it was a few months ago, he said he was researching options because he thought the stock was so low, but this is really a rare instance that management is this involved in the company's success. Like a lot of his net worth is in the stock. He obviously wants it to succeed. And if you don't believe me, you can search up on YouTube some videos of him talking about the stock, him explaining stuff about it, his reasoning. And I really think it's amazing that he's so open about this, which is one of my biggest reasons why I love the company. Um, Another thing to note is they've pretty much beaten revenue every single quarter. Now, obviously, the revenue is slightly sandbagged, but this is still a very good thing. They're consistent. They're not going out and doing some stupid things. Basically, they're always going to beat and most of the time raise. Obviously, right now, they haven't raised because the macro environment is quite poor. But when that environment does change, I really think they're going to benefit tremendously. So, some final thoughts. I just wanted to talk a bit more about the macro environment. Right now, the environment isn't the best. We have tariffs, we have the war, we have Trump saying things, we have the Fed, and all of this stuff that's happening now, and that's the main reason why the stock is down. However, if you look at the company and the fundamentals and everything else, it's all going upwards. It's the best it's ever been, and it's going to continue to get better while the stock is down. So that's like a little split from actual fundamentals and the stock price and the market sentiment. So now is like an excellent time to buy the stock. I've been loading up on the stock and I will continue if it stays around these prices. And just something to keep in mind is whatever happens now, it's not going to be bad forever. The macro environment cannot be bad forever. Eventually, it will turn in SoFi's favor. And when that happens, the stock is going to explode 100 to 200% to the upside, pretty much. And just focus on the long term, on the company's fundamentals, the potential of the stock, and all of that stuff. And it all pretty much leads back to SoFi being an amazing buy. My personal price target for the stock end of year is around $25, which is a decent amount of upside from currently. But my long term target, I think SoFi is next like 3, 5 years, is probably like anywhere from 75 to 100 plus dollar stock. I really believe in the company and I think that they're going to be a huge bank in 10, 15 years down the line. And I think Anthony Noto and the management team has done a good job. And as long as they keep the business model decently asset light and don't make any bad decisions and get through the downtimes in the economy, I think that the stock is positioned to be a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for the short and the long term. Sorry about the noise outside. I'm currently in my dorm in Chicago, and the train is passing by. But appreciate you guys so much for watching. And another thing, let me know down below in the comments section what stock you would want me to research. It can be any stock, not doesn't have to be my portfolio or anything. Just any stock you thought about buying, or maybe you own and you'd want me to research it and let me know your opinion. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.